Hey guys, welcome back to another video on the Inside Spurs channel. Hope we're all well. Hope we're enjoying the start of the week and it's a pretty sunny day. I'm glad it's sunny because the weekend was a miserable one. I think we can all agree on that. We'll talk a little bit about Leicester, the ramifications of that game, and also a potential blocked move for a former England international. So let me start with the game and the bad news coming from that game, and I'm going to get out of the way straight away. Rodrigo Bentancur ruptured his ACL, so he's done for the season. So that is a monumental loss. I think he's probably been our best player this season, alongside Kane. He's been the driving force of our midfield. Højbjerg plays better when he plays with Bentancur, and it's a massive loss, really. To lose him at such a pivotal point of the season is really hard to take. When you think about how we've got an AC Milan game coming up in the week that Højbjerg suspended for the first game of, and you think of this run of fixtures now where had we had Bentancur, we could win 6 or 7 of these in a row. It's one of those sort of forms, or what sort of lineup of fixtures. So such a massive shame. Forget that the game was, a terrible game. We didn't play well other than the sort of first 10, 15 minutes. To lose him is massive. To have lost that 4-1 and to have kept Bentancur is at least something. To lose Bentancur and to get thumped 4-1, it was a bad day at the office, to say the least. So speaking of that game, losing obviously 4-1, having the fact that we went 1-0 up in that game, started the game very well, looked very good with the ball, looked attacking, looked like we had kind of hit our stride, reaching sort of third or fourth gear even, and then to kind of capitulate. And it was every single goal we gave it away, basically. When you think of the fact that Ben Davies kicks the ball out from the centre-half position straight to their team, Dyer giving the ball away multiple times. I thought Tanganga and Porro probably weren't at fault for many of the goals, if I'm honest. I think it was Perisic, Davies, and into Dyer that I think were the main culprits of bad form. At the back, I don't think Tanganga was great, and I don't think Porro was great. But I'm not going to say that they were at massive faults for the goals. I'm not going to put blame at Fraser Forster's feet, if I'm honest, because show me the goals that they scored and show me where he should have done better. The first one is an absolute bullet strike that he couldn't get near, right? He's had multiple of them placed into the corners. He's not going to get near them. So I'm not going to put blame at his feet. I think it's harsh to think that the blame is at his feet because it's not. The 3 in front of him, that's where the fault is for me, okay? Alongside Perisic, okay? I think Perisic really hasn't been that good for us for a little while. I think his form's actually dipped quite a bit. I think Davies had an absolute stink. I think Dyer's not been good enough for a little while now. Tanganga's just, in my opinion, just flat out not good enough, if I'm honest. Clearly needs time away to kind of hone his skills and maybe come back and it might work. Porro got caught a few times, actually, really, in defensive positions. Bentancur picked up a yellow card purely because Harvey Barnes had obviously blown past Porro. But going forward, I thought he was decent. Defensively, yeah, he looks suspect. But the idea is your right centre-back and your right centre-mid should be there to add cover and support, not expect this guy to kind of be left on his own on an island with Harvey Barnes, who's a pretty decent winger, if I'm honest. I thought, when you look at the front 3, just didn't get in the game. Son gave the ball away how many times, about 40 yards away from our own goal. Kane didn't get on the ball enough, and I think Kulusevski was quiet, to say the least. It was just, everything went wrong that game. I think that's where I'm going to sum it up. I'm not going to sit there and say, crisis, we've hit the panic button, right? It's a very Spursy thing to do to beat Man City and look comfortable beating Man City, to then get thumped by Leicester, who have had a shocking season. I don't really know how these next few months are going to go. I mean, Højbjerg has got to stay fit. With Basuma having surgery only about a week ago, Bentancur picking up an ACL injury, obviously, on Saturday, it makes Højbjerg stand out as vital for this team, okay? We're going to hope that either Skip or Sarr step up. Both of them will probably be playing in the middle of the week anyway. Højbjerg's not fit. He's suspended for the game at Milan. So we're going to need them. We're going to need Sarr to step up and play well. We need Skip to start to hit some form. He's been fit for a little while now, and we haven't really seen anything yet of him. So it's about time he started stepping up and showing something now. it's all these things that play a massive part into how these next few months go at Spurs. Losing Bentancur, having this team that's basically flat on its feet after last game, confidence might be a bit lower, Romero will be back, so that's something, because Tanganga and Sanchez just aren't good enough. Simple as that. They're just not. I've tried to defend them and tried to give them as much time as possible to try and, show that they can actually help. But actually, what I would say is they're just not good enough. Romero is light years ahead of them. And in reality, it shows ever more why we need to invest heavily this summer into the centre-back area. It's not just that we need an attacking player or a central midfielder. It's about the defence and that we need massive, massive investment there. Not 15, 20 million on this guy, 15, 20 million on that guy, 40, 50 million on that guy and 40, 50 million on that guy, Pierre Hincapié signs a new contract to Leverkusen to 2027. Skriniar's off to PSG on a free transfer in the summer. You're looking at Josko Gvardiol, who probably is going to be wanted by all of Europe, so we're going to struggle to get him. Bastoni, Stefan de Vrij, Mark Guehi from Palace, Pau Torres. So it's similar options, but you'll find that Bastoni and Pau Torres both only have a year left on their deal, so we should be able to get them at a reasonable price. And I think that's the big thing. They are still good players. We still wanted them last year. They were worth 40 to 50 million each last year. We could potentially get them for 30 this summer, right? Something in that region. I'm not saying exactly 30. I'm not going to say that, but you know what I mean. It's in that ballpark. You can, in theory, have two players worth about 100 million in your back line for about 60 million. That's a great bit of business, and that's the big thing. It's a great bit of business. You've not spent too much money. You get rid of some of the dead weight at the back. You then still have money to invest in the further players further up. Assistant manager Stellini talks about, hey, I love Maddison. Maddison's a player and a half. Really, really like him. So clearly, he's probably going to be well liked by the club and, someone that we're looking at. But the centre-half area, in my opinion, is the one that needs the most investment. It's basically been told that we're not going to be signing Longley in the summer because he's on 200k a week and we're not going to want to pay that. Because you've got to pay a fee as well as start to pay his wages. It's not going to be worth it. This area, can you imagine a centre-half area where you have Romero and you have two other guys that can play out from the back with confidence that allows the Højbjergs or Bentancurs or Kanes to kind of get it and spin, get it and go. Try and be a bit more attacking, be a bit more productive. The style of play and the patterns of play aren't there at the moment right now. And it shows because you've got centre-halves that can barely play out from the back at times. I would say Longley can. I'd say Davies has his moments, although he was shocking at the weekend. Dyer has his moments, but he's due a mistake pretty much every game. Romero's probably the only one that can. But it's a serious worry that we need some support there. I think people are coming out and saying Levy's failed us, blah, blah, blah. It's like, well, Levy didn't know that Lloris, Sessegnon, Richie, Bentancur, all these players are going to be out, Basuma, out for months. I know Richie's fit now, but you know what I mean? He's been injured for quite a bit. He's not planned that. He's not written a script that we're reading right now, and that's what we're seeing. It's something that has genuinely just happened. It's a freak of nature, some of these things. We need to kind of dust ourselves down, work around it, be a bit more optimistic about things. There's no reason why Oliver Skip doesn't hit a bit of form. Pape Matar shows the development that we've kind of seen already where there's some bit of ability there to do it again. Milan's going to be a huge game in the week. It's going to be a massive game, and we need to make sure that we're still in the tie for sure. But if we can come out of that first game with a good level of standing, then when you have Højbjerg comes back to the second leg, hopefully we don't drop any more players. There's no suspensions, that sort of thing. There's no reason why we don't go through this tie. Milan aren't in great form. They're missing Mike Maignan, the keeper, for the game. They're having their own issues. We need to be able to look to sort of actually make the most of this. They have some really good players, but there's no reason why we don't get through this tie, in my opinion. So that is my rant and ramble. Now, I talked about that we had a move blocked for an ex-England international. So this came out a few days ago that we were looking at basically signing an emergency keeper because obviously Lloris's situation, he got injured, right? This move for this keeper got blocked by the Premier League because apparently we can't register him as a player. Not too sure why. I think it's a bit of a joke. The guy's retired. If If you weren't aware, it's Ben Foster, the former Watford, West Brom, Man United keeper, okay? Good keeper. Played in the Premier League last season and showed still a really high level of ability. Would have been great for the squad. I love watching Ben Foster's like podcasts and his TV shows, football filling and things like that. But he's also a good keeper, can actually play out from the back, you know, has a good ability. Homegrown, which is nice. And I actually said in the summer, I was hoping that we might actually try and go and get him to come be the second or third choice keeper. For me, I know he's retired, but he's also an ex-Spurs fan. You know, he's not massive anymore because he's played for so many different clubs. He has an interest in, you know, the West Broms and the Watfords and the Uniteds. But I would love him to be our third choice keeper. Absolutely love that. Why wouldn't you? You know, could still give you a good couple of years of leadership, which is something the club probably could do with a little bit of, you know. We're going to be losing quite big names in the summer in terms of leadership in the club. It'd be nice to bring in someone who knows the Premier League, knows, you know, English football, knows football at the highest level. You got to think he's played in cup finals, he's played in England internationals. But it's not going to happen. That's a real shame. I was hoping that was something that we could get because I think he adds a lot to the club and actually is a really credible backup to Fraser Forster, if not someone that challenges him for the first team spot, you know. But sadly not to be. So guys, that is the end of the video in terms of talking about, you know, the misery of obviously Saturday 3 o'clock game against Leicester, the injury to Bentancur, what it may look like going forwards, you know, especially with Milan in the week. Obviously, having the issue of that deal sort of blocked by the Premier League. But anyway, guys, that is the end of the video. I hope we're all well. I hope we're at least enjoying our Mondays. That's the important thing. Try not to let football kill you too much. It's the hope that kills you, as they say. But also, football isn't the be-all and end-all, lads. I love football, but you should never let it ruin a day or a weekend. But that's the end of the video. Guys, drop a like, drop a comment what you're thinking about the club right now. Why you see this club happening in the next couple of weeks with obviously these big games coming up. Hit the subscribe button if you are new. Hit the bell notification for more videos coming soon. And I'll see you all very, very soon. Take care, lads.